Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of What is Mrs. Wallace Reading? Today, I wanted to share 3 books with you today. That's right, 3, because as a librarian, there's never enough books to read. So I try to read one at home. I listen to one in the car, but then I also have one here at school that I read. So I wanted to start with what I'm technically currently just started today, February 10th, which is Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls. So this one came to me, or a recommendation came to me actually from my Owl Crate. I have the wonderful Owl Crate book scratch off poster that I've been scratching off all the different titles. The second book I'm going to talk about is from that poster as well. So this one I did not know about, and Owl Crate Junior technically alerted me of it. So to give you a little bit idea of what it's about, again, I just started it. Living in the remote town of Tierra del Sol is dangerous, especially in the Criatura months, when powerful spirits roam the desert and threaten humankind. But Cecilia Rios has always believed that there was more to the Criaturas, much to her family's disapproval. After all, only brujas, humans who capture and control Criaturas, consort with the spirits, and brujeria is a terrible crime. When her older sister, Juana, is kidnapped by El Cembrion, a powerful dark Criatura, Cece is determined to bring Juana back. To get into the Devil's Alley, though, she'll have to become a bruja herself while hiding her quest from her parents, her town, and the other brujas. Thankfully, the legendary Criatura Coyote has a soft spot for humans and agrees to help her on her journey. With him at her side, Cece sets out to reunite her family and maybe even change what it means to be a bruja along the way. So I've just read the first chapter, and it actually is a flashback to when she was 7 years old and she gets captured by not captured, but she encounters one of the Criatura, but the Criatura does not destroy her or engulf her, as she says. Instead, helps her to get back to town because she's lost in the desert at night, and it helps her get back to the town. And the creature is captured, but she captured by the people who think that it is a bad omen, that that creature is there to capture children. And in reality, it helped Cece get home. So Cece frees the Criatura, and then she is kind of labeled as, being a bruja. And so it's a really interesting start. It was a nice, ease into the action. It wasn't just like action right away, which is really good. I'm really excited to continue to read that one. The second book that I just finished was Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan, Crowe. I'm actually currently listening to the second book right now, which is called Wundersmith. I don't want to read you the description for that because it spoils the first book. Wundersmith is the second book in the series. Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan, Crowe is the first book. And it's a cursed girl escapes death and finds herself in a magical world, but is then tested beyond her wildest imaginations. Morrigan Crowe is cursed, having been born on Eventide, the unluckiest day for any child to be born. She's blamed for all local misfortunes, from hailstorms to heart attacks, and worst of all, the curse means that Morrigan is doomed to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. But as Morrigan awaits her fate, a strange and remarkable man named Jupiter North appears. Chased by black smoke hounds and shadowy hunters on horseback, he whisks her away into the safety of a secret magical city called Nevermore. It's then that Morrigan discovers Jupiter has chosen her to contend for a place in the city's most prestigious organization, the Wondrous Society. In order to join, she must compete in 4 difficult and dangerous trials against hundreds of other children, each boasting an extraordinary talent that sets them apart, an extraordinary talent that Morrigan insists she does not have. To stay in the safety of Nevermore for good, Morrigan will need to find a way to pass the test. She'll have to leave the city, or she'll have to leave the city to confront her deadly fate. So again, I am currently listening to the second one. I listened to the first one too, and I highly, highly recommend that you listen to the audiobook because the narrator is wonderful. I am not always the biggest fan of audiobooks because I like to, have the book in front of me to be able to turn back. But the way that she tells the story, the different character voices, totally worth listening to the audiobook. So The Trials of Morrigan Crowe is the first one, and I am currently listening to the second one, which is called Wundersmith. And the last book that I just finished reading, so technically not currently reading, but just finished reading, but I wanted to talk to you about was Alan Gratz's most recent book, which is 2 Degrees. So if you are a fan of Alan Gratz, you will definitely love this book. If you have never heard of Alan Gratz is a historical fiction writer, And when he writes his book, he writes his books from various different perspectives, usually about the same issue, but in two different time periods or two different characters. For example, in Refugee, it tells the story of three different refugees from all different points in history. But then at the end, their story intersects in some way. So this one, 2 degrees, is actually technically about climate change, fire, flood, ice, three natural disasters, three kids who must fight to survive and change things for the better. In California, Akira is driving through the mountains with her mom when a wildfire sparks and grows scarily fast. In just moments, Akira and her family have to evacuate, but which way is safe with the fire all around them? That is incorrect. She was going through the mountainside with her father, not her mom. In Churchill, Manitoba, Owen is running a tour for travelers who've come to see polar bears. Lately, the bears show up more and more as the ice thins. When Owen and his friends see a bear much too close for comfort, they end up in a fight for their lives. In Miami, a hurricane bears down on Natalie. That's not so common, but everyone's saying this could be it, the big one. Natalie and her mom don't have anywhere to run to, so they hunker down to ride out the storm. Akira, Owen, and Natalie are all swept up in the global effects of climate change, each struggling to survive their individual disasters. But, as they will discover, the three kids are more deeply connected than they could ever imagine, in ways that will change them and hopefully can change the world. So, this is actually not a great description of this book, but this was an excellent book. I thought it was really going to be mainly about the California wildfires, but to hear about the two other climate change disasters, it made it even more interesting. And it was seamless. The transition from place to place or place to place, it was seamless, which was great. So that is what I am currently reading. If you are interested to hear some more Chapter 1 read-alouds, make sure you like and subscribe this video so you can hear some of the upcoming things. Next week, there'll be a great appearance of some new books coming to the library, so make sure you check that out, and I will see you next time.